Hey guys, in this month's Disney Rewind, we're going to be talking about Toy Story 3, released back in 2010. So, we're going to be talking about Toy Story 3. We're definitely going to be getting into some spoilers, most likely, so you've been warned. Stephanie, how did you feel about Toy Story 3?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
We've only seen it once, haven't we?
You know what?
And we've not seen it. I don't believe we've seen it multiple times religiously, like we've seen, you know,
like
one and two.
Yeah. I think we have only seen it like in full. I've seen it when it's been on TV. I've just kind of sat down and watched like bits and pieces of. But yeah, this is the first time we've watched it in full in a long time.
I do like it. It's not my favorite, though. It does make a good, what we thought was a conclusion.
Yeah.
To the Toy Story universe.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good conclusion to watch now that Andy is grown up and what to do with that, all of his toys after, or now that he's going to college, and now it's going to, well, it was going to children in not need, but you know, little kids who now want to play with stuff, but then gives it all to Bonnie, who's, I don't know, maybe a couple years, I don't know how old Bonnie is.
Like a preschooler.
But yeah, it's still a good way to semi-conclude the toys and their journey with Andy.
Yeah, I wish, I mean, even though I really did like Toy Story 4, I did enjoy Toy Story 4. I wish this had been the last movie, because there's just something about this third movie that felt perfectly tied up. You were ending that story with Andy and his toys, you know, and especially like Woody really need to come to terms with that. Yeah, you know,
since
Woody
was his like favorite
toy. Yeah, it's like this is really Woody's journey of like he needed to understand that
self-awareness.
Yeah. So yeah, I wish this would have been the end, because this movie in particular definitely plays with like your heartstrings and your nostalgia, especially with just that whole ending. You know, if you're not crying by the end, there's something wrong with you. So yeah, what's going on in this particular movie? Andy is about to go to college. Of course, he can't take his toys with him. You know why not? I mean, I
leave them at home.
You know,
I took plushies.
I took plushies with me to college. What's wrong with that? I took a bunch of plushies with me and I put them on like a shelf. You know, what's wrong with that?
Like,
Andy, you know, Andy's a boy though. He's a macho boy. He would have got teased, wouldn't he?
Can't be having playthings.
So of course he's like, you know, I need to move on. I need to give away my toys, and so it's kind of
well, she was just gonna put like his favorite stuff in the attic. But that doesn't. She acted okay. Maybe I don't know, but she acted like he was gonna be leaving the house forever now. It's like, you know, Andy's coming back.
Yeah. It's not like he's leaving forever. Jesus.
She's acting like he was gonna go to college and get a job and leave forever.
That
ain't how it works, Andy's mom.
Yeah. So yeah. It's a whole thing of the toys are all scared and nervous, like, are they going to be trashed and disposed of, you know?
Because there's a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah, that happens early in the movie, and they all think they're about to be trashed, and they all end up going to the daycare, the local daycare at some point. Sunnyside, and it's ruled over by this pink teddy bear, and who ends up being the villain of the piece. And
cute.
Yep. And you got your introduction to Ken. We finally get Ken to go with Barbie. That was great. And yeah, everybody. What I liked about Toy Story 3, what I in particular like about Toy Story 3, is kind of playing this whole thing of the toys, like they come to this new world and they're like, oh, this is so utopian. You know, it's such a utopian society. Everything looks great and perfect. And this is like a place where there's permanent playtime, you know, because that's what these toys want. You always kind of get the idea when you're watching the Toy Story franchise.
They want to play that day and night.
Yeah, they want there to be constant interaction and playtime, because that's their function. They're toys. They want to be played with children forever and ever and ever. So when they first get to Sunnyside, it's this whole utopian kind of ideal that the pink teddy bear, what is his name? I forgot his name. Lotso. Yeah, Lotso kind of presents this utopian society like, oh, it's so great, you're always going to be played with this and that. But by the end of that first day, they realize this society, this apparent utopian society, is not all it's cracked up to be. Because they're not used to the rough and tumble playtime. You know, Andy was not a wild and crazy kid. You know, you kind of get the idea he wasn't all wild and crazy. So they get into the Sunnyside joint, and they're with a bunch of kids. You kind of get the idea, like, a bunch of them have, like, ADHD. You know, they're really rambunctious and wild and crazy.
The thing is, too, though, they're separated by rooms. I believe that's how daycare works. I want to know.
They're separated by, like, ages, it seems. Yeah.
Because the first room they go into is, like, the whole room is just different because it's got all these windows, the sun's shining in, it's clean, so that's the first room they see. They think everything's gonna be great, but Lotso is the overlord of the
good room.
He's the one who decides where you go, and since they're new toys, he thinks it's like what would you call it? Like kind of like an introductory, kind of like a test. You know, so they get sent to the whack kids room and the younger room. And the like even younger ones.
The kids who are really aggressive.
And they go in there and it's like there's no sunshine.
The kids are spitting on them, chewing on them, ripping their parts off.
Jesse got smacked into the wall.
You know, in some ways it's a weird social commentary too. You know, it's a weird social commentary because the toys are all the new toys, and there's like no equality here. You know, there's no equality, and they are immediately relegated.
Like you get more privilege. As
the longer you're
stay there. And then then when new toys come in, they're going to get thrown into that room, and they're going to like change out. So because there's probably another room too. There's probably like 2 other rooms.
So there's like, when you think about it, there's like a weird social commentary going on that you can reach like modern, like real world, you know. But yeah, they're just doing it with toys. Yeah, this movie's fun. I still think I still think Toy Story 2 is the best.
2 is my favorite.
Yes. Number 2 is the best, I think. I like the epicness of it and the scale.
Yeah.
And the history and backstory for Woody that we get, you know?
And also Buzz with Zurg.
Yeah.
That whole storyline.
Because like this third movie is really like doing more than the nostalgia thing. Because it's playing with the whole thing. The generation of kids that grew up with the movie when it first started. Because when was that first movie? 1993. You know, we're all a certain age now at this point, and so it's kind of playing with that whole thing. You know, that particular generation, like, we've all moved on. We have to get rid of our toys now. You know, so yeah, the third movie is playing a lot more with your heartstrings and nostalgia. I'm really trying to make you cry. And yeah, a lot of people, just because the movie made them cry, a lot of people were always like, "Oh, this is my favorite," you know. And I like this third movie, but I wouldn't consider it my favorite. There's something about the second one and the first one especially.
Yeah,
you know,
it kind of seems though like the third one kind of goes with the second one in the way that, like, this Toy Story movies kind of follow the same plot line. Like, if you think about it, they start not doing nothing original. Because in the second movie, you have the miner guy. I forget his name. The one voiced by Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
And the reason he's a bitter old toy is because he had issues with his person, right? Something happened to him.
Yeah.
But also Jessie had her issue with, or they come from the same family.
I can't remember.
But either way, they both had an issue with their person. In the third one,
it seems like
you have Lotso and his cronies who had issues with their person, and then if we skip over to the fourth one, the villains of that one had issues with their person. It's like they kind of stopped after the second one. All of a sudden now it's kind of following the same formula in a way.
Yeah, all the movies kind of have that same formula of
the reason somebody's bad is because of their person.
Whoever your antagonist is, they have a feeling of neglect.
But with Lotso, it turned into a thing of he was mad because he got lost, and along with 2 other toys, but he was the favorite, and they finally made it home because they got lost. Like while the family was having a picnic, they finally made it home. But by the time they got there, the girl already got a new Lotso.
But she wouldn't have known that. The parents probably just bought her a new one, and she wouldn't have known that.
unless there was something specific, like his eyeball
Yeah.
was gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was just mad that he was replaced. The other two did not get replaced, but he took it upon himself.
Yeah.
That he's like, no, we've all been replaced.
I mean,
and he turned to a little tyrant.
It's like all the movies kind of have that of the whoever the antagonist is, this feeling of neglect. I think that's just a big theme in all the movies, just neglect. Because, I mean, even in that first movie, what Sid does to the toys, you know, that's a certain type of neglect, an abusive neglect, you know? Yeah, Toy Story 2, neglect there, with, like, the minor guy, I can't think of his name, and, yeah, Jesse specifically, you know, and then, yeah, the third one, Lotso's neglect, and the fourth one, Bo Peep's neglect, you know, and the villain in that, whatever her name was, I can't think of her name, the doll. But yeah, it's like that's a common theme in every single one of them, is some sort of form of neglect and abuse, and neglect and abuse, you know?
It's like, though, the villainy is kind of different, though, at least in all of them, because in, like, for this one, Lotso, he, like, uses fear to make the others follow him, just because, he was the only one who got replaced. The others could have stayed. Or, you know, they didn't get replaced. But, he uses fear instead to control them.
Fear and intimidation.
But our toys, they're like...
Well, what I like, too, because even though you have these villains in all the movies, it's like there's still something sympathetic, sort of. You know, there's like a sympathetic thing, because they just, like I said, we were talking about, they want to be played with. You know, that's their sole function and purpose in life, is to be played with. And when they're neglected and abused, you know, and then the villains, that's how they turn out, how they become. Because they've been neglected and abused. I mean, imagine if Woody, you know, it's like Woody doesn't want to turn into that, I don't think. You know, I think that's why Woody is so just all about Andy. Like, Andy's not going to do this to us, you know, because he just fully trusts and relies on Andy. Because if Andy gets rid of him, Woody could turn into Lotso or something, you know. He can get all depressed like Jesse.
Then they come across Bonnie, and Bonnie, I think Andy sees that Bonnie was kind of like him, because he watches her and sees her interacting, and it makes him think of himself. So that's why I think then he's like, I feel okay with leaving them with you, because you're like me. At least that you're going to treat them well and play with them.
They all went to a good home, thank God, with Bonnie. Got out of that sunny side. Jesus, that was terrible. That's a terrible place. This is the last place Andy's toys need to go. They're all spoiled. You know, that's just it. Andy's toys are spoiled.
They all of them except for, like, Jessie. Yeah. They all grew up in a good home. Poor Jessie.
She keeps getting, like, PTSD throughout the entire...
But the thing is, like,
and anxiety. She gets all that anxiety and claustrophobia and, her PTSD, because she doesn't want to be abandoned and abused again. I really like that this movie uses all your characters really well, I think.
It does.
Because that was something that frustrated me, especially with the fourth movie. Because it's all totally Woody in that. Yeah. You know, which is understandable.
Even Buzz isn't in there.
Yeah. It's understandable with that fourth movie, because that is Woody's movie. You know? And, this movie, I think everybody gets used really well. Yeah. Which is what I liked. Because, Woody has his thing going. Buzz, Jessie. Mr. Potato Head has all the really nice stuff going on. Mrs. Potato Head. You know, like, every character is used really, really well, you know, because this is an ensemble. It's an ensemble piece. So all your characters are used really well.
Even the aliens saved the day.
Yeah, the aliens saved the day, thank God. Thank God for those aliens, or all of our characters would have been crushed and burned to death. Barbie and Ken are probably my favorite thing about the movie. I can't believe, where's the Barbie and Ken movie? You know, weren't there rumors there was going to be, like, a Barbie and Ken movie?
Spin-off.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could deal with listening to that the whole time.
I even to this day, it's like I still wish they would do like a Barbie and Ken spin-off movie, you know, in the Toy Story universe, you know, especially since it seems like they've wrapped up everybody, you know, Andy's toys. It's like, well, if Disney still wants to profit, I mean, there's other toys you can focus on.
Toy Story universe.
Yeah, it's like the MCU, you know, you can have the Toy Story universe. I still would like a Barbie and Ken movie.
I hate that baby doll.
That baby doll, he's so sad though.
Freaking creepy, man.
He's creepy, but then
then they try to make you feel bad because they know people hate baby dolls like that.
I felt bad for the baby doll. Once we got the backstory and how cruel Lotso was, I felt bad for the baby doll.
Still scary.
But yeah, he's still creepy. My God. I mean, I thought for sure everybody was going to get crushed and burned to death. Did you think that? Seriously, I remember when we were...
I don't remember.
I remember...
I was probably thinking,
when we were at the theater for the first time, I thought for sure...
And you heard that rumor?
I did. I thought for sure. I was like, is Disney going to go there and actually burn and crush these toys? I was like, that's pretty traumatic. Not just... I was like, it's not really... I was like, maybe traumatic for children, but I was like, I think we're like people our age who grew up with the movies. I think it's more traumatic for us.
And you'll be thinking, that's where my toys went.
But yeah, I remember thinking, oh my god, I think they're really about to kill all these characters. And then I seriously, it was just hilarious because I remember sitting there in the theater and yeah, all the sniffing and sobbing and crying. It was kind of hysterical. It was sad and hysterical at the same time.
It was funny that Lotso was like the big ticket item for toys for selling, even though he was the bad guy. But they're like, "Ooh, look at Lotso! He's a good, cute bear." Like they had those like plushies that were like, you know, massive.
He smells like strawberries.
Yeah, he smells like strawberries. Oh wait, who said that? Was it Rex?
I think
he smells like strawberries.
Yeah. Oh, and Buzz.
His Spanish.
I love that whole sequence when Buzz starts figuring things out and he's roaming around and Lotso knows how to, because he has like that bookworm, right? That bookworm tells him how to reset Buzz, and I love that whole sequence with resetting Buzz and turning him back into like Buzz Lightyear. How, you know, when he first arrives in Andy's room, factory model version of Buzz when he first arrives, and he really thinks he's Buzz Lightyear, you know. And then later, yeah, he goes into Spanish mode. I freaking loved all that stuff with Buzz. That was great. Anything else, Stephanie? No. If you had to rank Toy Story 3 on a scale of 1 to 10 Mickey ears, what would you give it? What did we give the first two? That's a good question. We need a rating board. You know, we've been doing this for years. Why haven't we created a board? Stephanie, we keep talking about it.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we talk about it every single video.
I ain't going back through all the videos.
I know, I don't think I can go back through every single video.
Well, at least you just gotta rewind to the last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I guess an 8.
An 8?
Probably
because I probably gave the first one. I probably gave the first two either a 9 or 10. So probably an 8 for Toy Story 3. Yeah. Sounds good. So you guys, in the comments below, do you love Toy Story 3? Or do you hate it? Did it make you cry? Did you really think they were all going to get crushed to death and burned? Because I certainly did. So you guys, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.